My presentation is on surface exposure dating, which is one of the most essential studies we have. I will be discussing the deglaciation of the Americas during the last 12,000 years and the melting of Antarctica and the raised beaches that have come as a result. My name is Gabriel Aviles, and thank you for listening to my presentation on surface exposure dating. What is surface exposure dating, you may ask? It is a way for scientists to know how long a rock has been exposed to the Earth's surface. This is important as it shows the climate change of the Earth, specifically the deglaciation of an area. This gives scientists the ability to know how long ago glaciers could have existed in a given area. Image shown is of Perito Moreno Glacier in Santa Cruz, Argentina, which is one of the largest glaciers left in the world and has been slowly melting and breaking away due to global warming. Most of this is caused by human interference. Using surface exposure dating, we can see that the glacier was once a massive, almost country-sized glacier. Due to the exposed rocks that were once buried under the ice, we now know that the glacier is even a fraction of that size. The deglaciation of the Americas is one of the most studied surface exposure dating tools we have. Using surface exposure dating, we know that the Americas were once covered in massive glaciers that spanned over wide parts of both continents. Using the work of David Palacios, we now know that over time, the glaciers melted due to a warming planet and human interference. Glaciers retreated throughout North and Central America and in some cases completely disappeared, written by David Palacios, showing that during the Holocene era, which spans from roughly 12,000 years ago almost to present day, almost all of the glaciers in the Americas went away due to a warming climate. Surface exposure dating is what allows for us to know that in roughly 12,000 years, the Americas have warmed from approximately 7 to 11 degrees, causing the melting of America's glaciers. Since then, our planet has cooled slightly, but not enough for the glaciers to return to the Americas in the vastness they once spanned. Surface exposure dating of Antarctica, another one places where surface exposure dating has been used frequently. The shorelines of Antarctica have seen drastic changes in its sea level in the past 10,000 years. The melting ice is a direct result of the warming of Earth. And as more ice continues to melt away, the more rocky beaches we will continue to see in Antarctica. Surface exposure dating shows us that these beaches were not even here 10,000 years ago. And as a result of deglaciation, we have seen a 3.8-meter drop in sea levels in Antarctica. Antarctica was once this vast, massive ice shelf that spanned thousands of miles. While it still is that, we have seen a massive drop in the amount of ice and vastness of the continent. When explorers first discovered Antarctica, it was almost unreachable due to the vastness and lack of any rocky beaches to dock a ship. Now, Antarctica is covered in rocky shorelines that have been around for less than 10,000 years. A quote from Cengiz Yildirim shows that these shorelines have served as records of interactions between various environmental spheres, allowing researchers to infer the timing of deglaciation events and to model glacial isostatic responses to ice mass loss, which are essential for understanding relative sea level changes. Surface exposure dating is one of the most important studies in geology, as without it, we would not know the drastic changes our Earth has gone through. In just 12,000 years, we have seen the Americas go from covered in massive glaciers to being almost entirely gone. And we have seen Antarctica shrink to levels it never has before. The new rocky beaches that outline parts of Antarctica show the melting of the glaciers in such a short period of time. New beaches are being formed with every piece of ice that falls into the water, and we are able to know all of this due to surface exposure dating. Surface exposure dating has shown us how fast our world can change. It shows us that while in human lifetime it sounds long, but in Earth's lifespan, in the blink of an eye, we can lose defining pieces of our planet. The Americas at one point once were covered in ice and snow, and almost all of that is gone. Now the Americas are a temperate or tropical climate with almost no glaciers except the northernmost points humans barely reach. Antarctica is no different, as it was once 1,000 miles long sheet of ice and snow that has slowly melted away and turned into new rocky beaches. These rocky beaches have also helped raise the temperature of Antarctica, showing that there will be more rocky beaches. And when there becomes more rocky beaches, we may see a point where Antarctica may cease to exist. Surface exposure dating is essential to understanding how to take care of our planet. Without it, we would know none of these facts and would not understand it at all and how to keep our planet, which we need, healthy and alive. My name is Gabriel Aviles, and thank you so much for listening to my presentation on surface exposure dating.